Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 10, Text 9. Brahmano Vacha Tvayoditam Vyaktam Avipralabdham Bhartuhu Same Syad Yadi Veera Bharah Gantur Yadisyad Adigamyam Adva Viveti Rashau Navidam Pravadah. So we are seeing the third life of Bharat Maharaj. First life as a great king who ruled the entire world. Second life as an animal, deer. A very unique deer who got renunciation right from childhood and joined ashram. And third life is Jadabharatha, a great Brahmana, a self-realized soul. Now we have seen in this particular life of Jadabharatha that how right from his childhood he has been completely indifferent to this entire world. His father tried to teach him various things, but then he was busy absorbed as Krishna consciousness, so he didn't bother to learn all that. And then he was so tolerant that whatever his stepbrothers did to him, he was ready. He was okay. Whatever they gave, he ate. Whatever they did, he tolerated. Whatever service they asked him to do, he did. And his faith on the Lord is so great that when the dacoits wanted to kill him, he was just there, indifferent to what is happening outside. And he was just depending on the Lord to such an extent, Goddess Kali breaks open the deity and she comes out and she kills those dacoits. And now here is a section where Jadabharatha was very strong, bodily very strong. And it is described, all those who have maintained strong brahmacharya, they're very strong. Obviously the karma should also support with strong brahmacharya, then both together will work. And this person was not going to gym, was not eating non-veg. Forget about non-veg, veg food only he was not getting properly. Such a personality was very stout and strong. Like a bull, that's the description that is given. And when he was sitting there like that, Maharaj Rahugana was going to Kapila Ashram to hear Bhagavatam class. So three of the soldiers were carrying, or three of the palanquin carriers were carrying the palanquin, but the fourth one was missing. They found this very strong person. They got him. And all four of them are carrying. That's very nice to see that Jadabharatha, whatever was told, he was doing. Take care of the field, he's taking care of the field. You come, we want to kill you, okay, I'll come. And then in this case, come, take the palanquin, be one of the carrier, ready. But when he was carrying the palanquin, unfortunately, the king was not knowing that he was a realized soul. And all the ants who were there around, the insects who were there around, he was very conscious of that. Other three were Shudras. They were least bothered for them. They just wanted to appease their master. So they were stamping on the ants and insects and they were walking. But Jadabharatha, he was seeing all of them on the same platform. What is the shloka from fifth chapter? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmani Gave Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shupakecha Pandita Samadarshanaha. So he was on that platform. He was seeing Raja also on the same platform. And even the ants and the insects were there on the ground on the same platform. So he was very careful that not to stamp on the ants or insects who were there on the ground. But obvious, he was stopping, moving, jumping. Just imagine, it's very funny. Other three palanquin carriers, they're carrying properly, and this person, you might be shaking like anything, jump and then come down and stop. And Raja, Rahugana, we read in the previous shlokas that how kings are always passionate. They can get angry anytime. And they should get angry also to correct people and set things right. But then his anger was now shown on a self-realized soul. And he started chastising. So in the previous few verses, you see, Maharaj Rahugana, very nicely he started chastising Jadabharatha. And this chastisement initially was sarcasm in various ways. This is shloka number 6, and Maharaj Rahugana is saying, how troublesome this is, my dear brother. So first thing he says, my dear brother. So don't think that you're my brother. I'm king and you're my servant. I want to kill you very soon. You certainly appear very fatigued because you have carried this palanquin alone without assistance for a long time and for a long distance. Again, this was not the truth. He just joined the party. Besides that, due to your old age, you have become greatly troubled, my dear friend. So initially he said brother, now he's saying friend. I see that you are not very firm, nor very strong and stout. Aren't your fellow carriers cooperating with you? So in this way, these were the various things that he was speaking about. And then he speaks in the current verse, exactly arguing for each and every statement what Rahugana said. So Rahugana, Jadabharatha in this particular shloka is saying, the load carried by the body does not belong to me, for I am the spirit soul. There is no contradiction in your statement because I am different from the body. And here is saying, certainly as you hinted, I have not labored carrying the palanquin, for I am detached from the body. So in the previous shloka, you told that you certainly appear very fatigued because you have carried this palanquin alone. He is saying, no, you're correct. No, it's not me who have carried. And then he is saying, you have said that I am not stout and strong. This is also correct. Because this was the statement. I see that you're not very firm, nor very strong and stout. And he's saying, yes, such words are befitting whom? People who don't understand the distinction between body and soul. The body may be fat or thin, but no learned man would say such things of spirit soul. As far as spirit soul is concerned, I'm neither fat nor skinny. Therefore, you're correct when you say that I'm not very stout. So in this way, we see that how Maharaj Rahugana was pointing to the body in various ways, and he was sarcastic and speaking. But when it comes to Jadabharatha, he was very clear about his identity. And he was speaking, understanding his identity. Therefore, a very important thing that has to be understood is that when someone realizes his identity, that I am not the body, I am spirit soul, then such a person will not be affected by externals which are there. And here we can clearly see Jadabharatha was not affected by the externals. Very plainly, in a very simple language, he is explaining to Rahugana, whatever you said is correct. It's for this body, and I am spirit soul, it doesn't matter. Now, one question which we have to understand, or we have to ask here is, how can someone realize that I am not the body, I am spirit soul? How? By austerities and penances. This is what Prabhupada writes. Very nice, attentively reading. The practice of austerity and penance is meant for understanding the distinction between body and soul. But austerity penance, though we don't do. So who does austerity and penance? Jnanis. See, for Jnanis, they do those 30 activities which are given in 11th Canto. Not 11th, 7th Canto. So very clearly it is given that how they do those 30 activities, and actually it is very austere. Various austerities they do. For what? Just to realize that I am not the body, I am spirit soul. When a jnani is able to realize that I am not the body, I am spirit soul. Therefore, we will see that these personalities who have realized that I am spirit soul, they are able to overcome the externals which are affecting them. Therefore, such jnanis, who are doing austerities in various places, they're able to withstand the climatic conditions, they're able to withstand various other things which are there going around, they're able to withstand what other people speak, etc., etc., etc. So even jnanis are able to do that. Sometimes, we say that jnanis, karmis, all gone case. We are gone case in front of them. At least, they have some what is a basic value system that is there, and they follow, they do austerities, they are realized. Like in 18th chapter we have, right? Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. So person has attained this Brahman platform, that I am not the body of spirit soul, na shochati na kankshati. He will not have hankering, he will not have lamentation. So that's a very great position that they have attained. But still, that doesn't suffice, because maybe they might have attained the state of understanding that what is Brahman, or they are the spirit soul, but they cannot go back, come back to Godhead. Maybe the jail of this material world might open the doors, but still the doors of Goloka Vrindavan are closed for them. They might go out from here, but where will they go? Therefore, it is described that they might merge into Brahmajyoti, or they might be one spiritual spark. But since that door is not open and this door is open, so they have to come back to this door only. There is no other way. Therefore, it is described that jnanis, they cannot go much long. They cannot go beyond the Brahmajyoti. Now, this is about jnanis. Here, let's talk about something that we can relate to for our day-to-day life. See, bhakti is something which is very, very powerful. And when someone practices bhakti and goes higher and higher on the ladder of devotional service, especially after anartha nivritti. So first is Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. When someone goes beyond Anartha Nivritti, so such a personality can come to this platform without doing much austerities. Means we do have austerities, but then the bodily austerities are very less as compared to what jnanis and Ashtanga yogis do. So when someone advances on devotional platform, naturally he becomes oblivious to the body and the externals which are affecting the body. Second chapter, Bhagavad Gita, shloka number 14. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhada agama paino nityas tamti tikshasva bharata. So a person who goes higher and higher in devotional platform, for him, Shita Ushna, Sukha Dukkha becomes very external. He is not affected by that. He is very sober when it comes to this. And we have so many examples in the past, the various acharyas. They were least bothered. They were least bothered about Shita and Ushna. Any example that you want to give? Sanatana Goswami in terms of? Yeah. So look at when someone goes to certain platform of devotional service, when they're absorbed in Krishna consciousness, they are least bothered about what's happening to the body. When Sanatana Goswami, he wanted to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. So at that time, he took that long route. He ran through the beach. And at that time, it was scorching heat and the sand was heated very nicely. And Sanatana Goswami is running over that. Now it's not easy. There were blisters on his feet, but he was not affected. Only when he reached the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there, and when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, which route did you take? And then he said, I took the long route which is there. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh, there might be blisters in your feet. Oh, is it? Obviously, he didn't say that. He said, Mahaprabhu, in your presence, all these things does not matter. You see, the body is getting affected, but it does not matter. This was during the time when Krishna Balram Mandir was supposed to get inaugurated. Now, Srila Prabhupada was called for inauguration and the temple construction is not over. There are a lot of problems. Again, every temple will have some problems during construction. So the government was not sanctioning, I think, cement or bricks or whatever. And Prabhupada fell really very ill. His body was deteriorating day by day. And then he also came down to a platform where he started having only few oranges, few pieces of chikkus. And he would tell his disciples This is how my father left his body. Our disciples were very scared. That okay, Prabhupada is going to leave the body. And this was going on. And at that time, Shrutakirti Prabhu was the secretary of Prabhupada and he was taking care of Prabhupada. We're very fortunate we met him. He was taking care of Prabhupada at that time. And then governor of that particular place was supposed to come. And this Prabhupada got to know. See, Prabhupada is a personality who is always absorbed in Krishna consciousness, in service of the Lord. All the time just thinking about service of the Lord. So when Prabhupada heard that governor is coming, at that time he told his disciples, I want to meet him. I'll welcome him. And the disciples are like, no, we all are there, we'll welcome them. Prabhupada, you take rest. And for your information, Prabhupada at that time he had fever of 104. And governor came and Prabhupada got ready. It is described on that day, just to put tilak on the forehead, Prabhupada took exactly 5 minutes. It's a huge time, by the way. When we come for Mangalarti, how much time it take for putting tilak? 30 seconds? 1 minute? 5 minutes Prabhupada took, to put tilak. And then somehow he got up, Shrutakirti Prabhu helped him, he got up, and then he came there. So devotees are standing on both the sides of the red carpet to welcome the governor. And Prabhupada is there at one place sitting. The governor comes, Prabhupada gets up with full energy, and then he shakes hand with the governor. Then he welcomes him, then both of them go to that near the stage. It is described, governor, he speaks, he gives a speech. And when governor comes down, Prabhupada goes up and he gives a speech. And it is described, Prabhupada spoke for 25 minutes on that day with this weak body and 104 degrees fever. And then Prabhupada speaks about the importance of devotional service, importance of the Vedic culture and all that. And then the best part, then the governor is taken to have prasad. Huge feast was made. And Prabhupada also sits with the governor on the table. And both of them are having nice discussion. And Prabhupada is connecting with him. And it's described, along with the governor, Prabhupada also eats the huge feast. And then, after all this discussion, for sure, Prabhupada might have connected with him very nicely and got everything sanctioned also. And then Prabhupada went to see off the governor. Governor gets into the car, he leaves, and Prabhupada collapses then and there. And it's described that fever on that day was 105 degrees for Prabhupada. This is called as absorption in Krishna consciousness. So when a devotee is on a different platform, serving the Lord all the time, thinking about serving the Lord all the time, there's a different energy that the person gets and different enthusiasm the person gets. To such an extent, the externals of this world will not affect the devotee. And Prabhupada is that example. Obviously, after some days, Prabhupada was okay. His health was okay, fever was not there. So in this way, we understand that when someone advances in devotional service by practicing Navavida Bhakti with full surrender, such a devotee is above the bodily conception of life. He need not tell himself that, okay, I am Brahman, I am spirit, soul, I am not this body. He is already above the bodily platform of life. So many times, when devotees come and they say that this devotee told this to me, I am feeling very bad, this problem is there with this devotee, etc., etc., etc. So much of consciousness, when it gets absorbed in thinking about what others told us, how I was not given the credit for that particular service, how I was not recognized in this particular place. And when they say that, one thing which we understand theoretically when we are counseling people is, problem is with not others. What are you expecting from others? And Prabhupada says this in one of the lecture. He quotes, some doctor, and he says that the doctor was saying, a psychiatrist was saying that everyone in this world is mad. Everyone in this world is mad. Some are mad 100%, some are 99%, some are 95%, some are 80%. Everyone is mad. Now, when you go to a mad person and then you expect that he should behave with me properly, do you think it's a proper expectation? You want that mad person to shake hands with you and then pay obeisance to you and speak nicely, glorify you. He's mad. So when you go to a mad person and expect that he should behave very nicely with me, then we also prove that we are also mad. Yes, because two mad people only will expect like this from each other. Therefore, it is described that when the madness goes away, then we will not expect much from the other person. And trust me, theoretically also when you have such understanding, it helps. Recently, one of the incidents when it happened, so a lady was behaving very weirdly. And then I was getting this thought, why is she behaving like this? Can't she behave properly? And suddenly I got this thought that she is going through some trauma and so she is behaving like that. So I started asking myself, Kartikeya, are you going through some trauma that you're expecting something like this from a lady who is going through a trauma? And you know what? The expectation which I had from that lady reduced to such a great extent. I was so peaceful. I was so peaceful that I was thinking, even if she hits me now, it's okay, no problem. So it makes, and by the way, I'm not a self-realized person, but this was a theoretical understanding. And that theoretical understanding gave so much of confidence, so much of enthusiasm to deal with such people. Therefore, the point is that somehow or the other, philosophically we have to be convinced, theoretically we should be convinced, and we should know that when we advance in devotional service, these realizations are going to help us, and life will be very peaceful. Therefore, Trinadapi Sunaichena Taroriva Saishnam Amanina Manadena makes a lot of difference for those devotees who are advancing on the path of Krishna consciousness. Because they are greedy, to chant more. They are greedy to hear more. They are greedy to do smaranam of the Lord. In this greed, when someone comes and says something, when they're not recognized, not given credit, they think it's okay, just tolerate. Why? Because I don't want to disturb my bhajan. So if I don't tolerate this, if I don't remain humble in this situation, my bhajan will get affected. My sadhana will get affected. So better I tolerate. Can you imagine? This is the level that devotees go through, or grow through, I should say, and reach this platform where they are least bothered. Now, what to talk about those devotees who have attained Krishna Prem? I'm talking about sadhaka still now. Now just think about those devotees who have attained Krishna Prem. What about them? They are in a different world altogether. Relishing something and some other world. How will they be affected? And Jadabharatha is one of the examples. How he's least bothered, he's least affected. Therefore, every devotee should hanker to grow in Krishna consciousness and not just get stuck at some lower platform. This is the first point, which I would like to make here, that it's very, very important that we understand if we are not advancing in Krishna consciousness, if we are not growing in Krishna consciousness, then for sure we'll be affected by whatever is happening around. Yes? So this is a very important thing to note. So anytime we are getting disturbed, it's not because of others, it's because we have not advanced in Krishna consciousness. Very, very important statement to meditate on. Anytime we get disturbed in this world, it's only because of we not advancing in Krishna consciousness, not because of other people or other things or situations, which are manifesting, in our day-to-day life. Next thing, which very nice analysis. I was just meditating on this. Now see, Bharat Maharaj was a king of a very, very great planet called Earth. Entire planet. He was the king of entire planet. Now king means naturally those qualities will be there. The other day which we discussed, 18th chapter, qualities of heroism, qualities of controllership, qualities of protecting others. So all these qualities will be there. And now this king who has lived, and that too he lived for many thousands of years, by the way. Yes. And after that he comes to the dear body, and dear body was not for that great span. It was a short span. And then he comes to this body of Jadabharatha. Now Jadabharatha is dealing with whom? He's dealing with Maharaj Rahugana. And Rahugana was king of? What does Bhagavatham say? Which place? King of? Sauvira, right? This is the place that is mentioned. So just a small part, it was part of India, a small part, Saurashtra if I'm not wrong, that is the name here. It's a small part of the entire world. So he is the king of that place. Now when Jadabharatha is speaking to Maharaj Rahugana, tell me, was Jadabharatha knowing about his past two lives? Yes, he remembered his past two lives. He was knowing that he was the king of the entire world. My question here is, how is it that This king of the entire world is able to tolerate and is so patient, and he's talking with so much of calmness to a king of a very, very small part of the entire world. Yes, just imagine, just think about it. Here comes a very, very important concept to understand, that when when a devotee renders pure devotional service, whatever nature is acquired, he can get rid of that nature. Whatever samskaras he has acquired from past, he can get rid of those samskaras. Now just imagine if Jadabharatha was having all those samskaras and was having all those vasanas. Vasanas basically means desires, and all those or nature that he might have acquired as a king. If that was there currently in this particular life of Jadabharatha, tell me then how he responded so wonderfully without reacting. There's such a hope-giving thing for all the devotees. Such a hope-giving thing. Now, what is the praman for this? Okay, there's a case study that we have seen, but do we have some praman from Shastra that this happens? When someone does pure devotional service, this happens, where the person gets rid of his nature, gets rid of the influence of three modes of material nature, gets rid of the samskaras and vasanas that he has. And praman is there in Nectar of Devotion. Rupa Goswami quotes this. And he gives the 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. Kleshagni Shubhada Moksha Lagukrita Sudurlabha Sandra Ananda Visheshatma Shri Krishna Akarshani Chasa. Very, very beautiful verse, which gives 6 symptoms of pure devotional service. Kleshagni, Shubhada, Moksha Lagukrita, Sudurlabha, Sandrananda Visheshatma, and Shri Krishna Akarshani. These are the 6 symptoms of pure devotional service. So whenever someone does pure devotional service, these things will manifest. And what is the definition of pure devotional service? Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavritam anukulena krishna anushilanam bhakti uttama. Now uttama bhakti is this. What is uttama bhakti? Anyabhilashita shunyam. So all the other desires apart from Krishna consciousness is zero. And what is that other desire specifically that our acharyas always quote about? Jnana karmadi. Jnana karma yoga. So one has to be free from the desires of jnana karma yoga. So what are the desires of karma that we have? Anyone wants to go to heavenly planet here? Any devotee aspiring to go to heavenly planet, dance with Rambha, Urvashi, Menaka, and drink some somras? I think that's a good deal, by the way. At least brahmachari should aspire. This life I remained a brahmachari. Let me enjoy there at least. So we don't aspire, but then the aspiration for a better life is a desire which comes in this category called karma. Aspire for better life, aspiration for luxury comes in this category. Now when it comes to jnana, now we are not interested to realize that I am Brahman. But then jnanis have this desire, I want to get rid of this material world. So anytime when we have the situation where we are stuck and we feel, I just want to get rid of this situation, I just want to get rid of this person, I just want to get rid of this entire material world, then there is aspiration for jnana. And when it comes to yoga, I mean, this siddhis that the person gets from Ashtanga yoga, I'm sure no devotee aspires, okay, I want to float in air and become smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest and all that. Yes. But then the thought of being the controller, the thought that I want to control the other person, the desire that I want to do this particular thing as a Ishvara, that comes under this category of yoga or Ashtanga yoga. So one has to be free from these desires of karma, jnana, adi, that is yoga, Ashtanga yoga. And when we are free from these desires, we come to the platform of pure devotional service. And how is this pure devotional service rendered? Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. So I want to do devotional service the way I want. That will not come under the category of pure devotional service. When I do devotional service following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, which is favorable to Krishna consciousness, such devotional service is called as pure devotional service. So therefore, we shouldn't be in confusion. I'm rendering pure devotional service. Why these 6 symptoms are not manifesting in me? So, I have to analyze. Therefore, a devotee who understands philosophy and reads scriptures properly, he will be clear, okay, I'm not still there at that stage. I'm still practicing pure devotional service. What do you mean by practicing? I'm practicing consciously, oh no, I should not desire this. No, I should not desire this also. No, I should not desire this also. This is called as practicing. All of us are practicing, no? Yes. And the ones who are like, no problem, chalo, these desires are okay, they're not even practicing. They're not even practicing. Therefore, we are practicing pure devotional service, and that's nice. One day maybe we'll come to that platform of rendering pure devotional service. So when someone renders pure devotional service, kleshagni happens. What do you mean by kleshagni? So again, from Nectar of Devotion, kleshastu phalam tad bijam avidya cha eti te trida. Klesha, which is distress. The distresses are three varieties. First one is the vices, the desires that we have. Second is the root cause. And the third is the gross ignorance, avidya. So now these are three things which are there, which comes in klesha. And kleshagni basically means all these three are destroyed. Now, without going to the depth of it, I'm sure we might have heard about kutam, bijam and papam. So let's talk about that. So it's a similar thing. So kutam is the sinful tendency and bijam is sinful desire, which matches with this particular shloka. Now, what happens when someone does pure devotional service, renders pure devotional service? Kleshagni happens. So what does that mean? Kutam, bijam are burnt. And when kutam, bijam are burnt, the sinful tendencies are burnt within. So what happens? The person renders pure devotional service very nicely. No more he will have sinful tendencies, no more sinful desires. What does that mean? He's already beyond the three modes of material nature. Because all these sinful tendencies and desires, when it manifests into actions, all the problems come. But this personality will not allow that to happen because internally, now those things are not there. Again, matching another shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, shloka 17. Shanvatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana tridantastohi abhadrani vidunoti suratsatam. This abhadrani word that is there, very nicely Prabhupada translates it as desire for enjoyment. Abhadrani is desire for enjoyment. When does a person desire for enjoyment? When he's there in three modes of material nature. So when we do Srinvatam Swakatha Krishna, when we are hearing very nicely, basically when we do Navavida Bhakti very nicely, what happens? Vidunoti Suratsatam, Lord is cleansing. And what is he cleansing? All the Abhadrani. That is, he gets rid of the desire for enjoyment. And anyone who gets rid of desire for enjoyment is beyond three modes of material nature. The point that I'm trying to make here is, doesn't matter what is our nature. Doesn't matter what we have acquired from the past. Doesn't matter what vasanas we have. But if any devotee is sincerely aspiring to attain pure devotional service onto the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Krishna, and he's practicing that every day, even when all the vasanas are popping up, even when the nature is becoming the obstacle, with time all that will be removed. And here is a very strong example that the king in the past is now such a sober Brahmana. There's a huge transformation that has happened. The huge nature transformation, nature change has happened in this particular case. And this personality, now a self-realized soul, is speaking to the king with all calmness and patience to such an extent that his speech is going to transform the heart of Maharaj Rahugana to such an extent that he's going to give up his kingship and he's going to become a mendicant, a sage. This is the power of devotional service. Therefore, bhakti is very, very powerful. Whenever you are troubled by anything, by our past samskaras, vasanas, or the nature that we have acquired, only one mercy, and by his mercy, I'll be able to overcome all this and render pure devotional service on the lotus feet of Krishna, and the next few symptoms of pure devotional service manifests, and that is kleshagni shubhada, all auspiciousness will come in life. And the next one, kleshagni shubhada, moksha lagukrita, all that is there. But one of the very nice thing, where is that? Sandrananda Visheshatma, the person was very happy, very peaceful. And Sri Krishna Akarshani, he'll develop attraction towards the Lord. So this was going to happen if we continue rendering pure devotional service. And it starts with practicing pure devotional service. So thank you very much. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.